Okay. Hi everybody, this is Michaela Ripplinger, Realtor with Century 21 Dome Realty Inc. and also a member of the Clark Cullen Group, and today you are listening to the CCG podcast. It is officially our 4th episode, and today I have a very special guest sitting right beside me, the beautiful Holli Appelquist. So if you want to introduce yourself a little bit, that'd be fantastic.
Okay, sure. My name's Holli Appelquist. I'm an interior decorator and owner of my own firm, AppelquistInteriorDesign Inc. And I've been working in Regina since 2003, so it's been a long time.
Very long time.
And I've done lots of renovations, building new homes. We help people from beginning to end in the process, and I'm just here to share some thoughts.
Perfect. Yeah, we've been working together for a while now.
Yes.
Or more so with Ripplinger, I guess. Like what, for 5-7 years? Yeah, I really trust Holli's opinion on basically everything from design.
Thanks.
I definitely think that you're ahead of the trend in most cases.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
And always just bringing really great design innovation to the city. I think it's something that we really need. So, yeah, it's really great to have you here today. So today I thought that we would chat about renovations. I know that you kind of specialize in that.
I do.
You have a lot of experience in it. So why don't you talk a little bit about the process and kind of what your insight is, I guess, on the renovation process.
So, like, from a customer's perspective, when you're thinking about renovating your home, there's a few things that pop up that I would tend to flag as concerns.
Okay.
So people are they have no idea what things cost.
No,
they don't know. And so I met with a few people over the last month, and I was really surprised. 2 couples said to me pretty much back to back, they said, we'd like to renovate our main floor and we'd like to include a kitchen in that renovation. And, all new flooring, new trim, new doors, maybe moving a few walls around, reconfiguring the kitchen
pretty much
slightly.
gutting the entire thing.
Yeah, new fireplace around,
Wow.
potentially, a little bit of new railings, etc. And they thought that might cost somewhere between $30,000 and $50,000. And so when I hear that, my heart just sinks for those people, because I feel like there's just no way in God's green earth that's ever going to happen. Not in Regina, and I don't think anywhere.
No.
So when you break down and you think about, and it's just that they haven't done it before. They don't live in this world of renovation.
Exactly.
And so who can blame them, right? But as a professional sitting with them at the table, I need to say to them, like,
it's not going to happen.
Right, and we need to adjust your expectations. So it's either that we downsize the scope of your project, so maybe it's just your kitchen, not the entire main floor, and maybe for that we could do a $50,000 renovation and get you some nice quartz countertops and those sorts of things, custom cabinets. But if you want that whole meal deal and it's the entire main floor that we're updating, then you need to think in the range of 75 to 125, 150-ish range, depending on how many square feet you have.
Exactly.
If you think about all the different things that are involved in a renovation of that scale, you've got, like, obviously your kitchen cabinets, your countertops, your backsplash tile, flooring, doors and trim, railings, ceilings, light fixtures, plumbing fixtures, appliances. And all of those things cost money, and then they all cost money to install.
Right.
And so I always tell people, whatever it is that the item costs, usually just double that, and that will get you to an installed price.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, obviously not including appliances, but if you can buy flooring for $5 a square foot, plan that it's $10 installed. That kind of idea.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And that'll give you at least a ballpark to try to understand and to at least have an expectation and not be blown out of the water when you actually get the price.
Right.
So I do a lot of adjusting people's expectations to make sure that they understand what they're getting into. And if they're not comfortable, then we just don't do it. That's okay too.
Exactly.
You don't need to keep up constantly. If you're not in that comfort range financially, don't do it.
Because I don't think a lot of people realize that it's almost like rebuilding your house from the inside out, right?
Right. Exactly
and
right.
You're missing a lot of the expenses that you would have in the home building process, you know, with the framing, the
foundation,
exactly, all those
beams,
big expenses, right?
Exterior, yeah.
So it's almost similar in a way, I think, right? From basically maybe the 6-month point in the home building process on.
Right? From lockup stage.
Exactly.
Almost.
Yeah.
Except that you don't have the drywall expense to the same extent. But you're, absolutely. Like you're refinishing everything inside of your home.
Exactly.
From right down to the window treatments to the grills on your hardwood floors.
Exactly.
To
like every small little detail.
Yeah.
Right? It's definitely a huge expense, but it can pay off. In the end, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've had customers not even actually put their home on the market.
No way.
And it sells. Like before it even hits the market because they've made the right choices.
Right.
But I've also had clients where I've advised them to do, for example, taking out a wall and enlarging that space and getting to that great room, open concept type of look.
Yeah.
And then, they choose not to go that direction because, of course, it costs more money. And then if you're just renovating based on your initial footprint of your home, and that's an outdated plan, even though the finishes are nice, the layout's wrong. And so it's difficult to sell because then you want more for your house because you've invested that money in the renovation. The problem is you've invested it in the wrong way.
Exactly.
And so people don't want to pay for that brand new beautiful kitchen, which is just laid out wrong.
Yeah. No, well, that's the thing too, and you can't necessarily change floor plan as quickly as you could a kitchen, right?
Right. And so I always advise people, like if you want to go with prefab cabinets, laminate countertops, and go sort of lower end of the finishes scale, I'd rather see you do that and save money that way because you can always upgrade finishes as you say.
Right.
But what you can't do is change the layout as easily. So get the layout right, get the foundation and the bones of your house organized properly from a functional and from an aesthetic point of view.
Exactly.
And then upgrade finishes when you can.
I totally agree. Because especially when showing houses, almost all the feedback that I have to give to other realtors is the floor plan just doesn't work for my clients.
Yeah.
Right? Like it is outdated because you have the small weird hallways and the great room is blocked off from the main or from the kitchen, right? So it's just one of those things that a lot of people will see and they won't want to put the work in after they buy it to change that that footprint to make it really work for their families.
Right.
So, and I have seen beautiful, beautiful houses that do have, the easier finishings, like the laminate countertops, the pre-finished cabinetry. And it definitely doesn't take away from the aesthetic point of view at all, right? It's just a quicker fix and it still looks beautiful in the end. But
and it just costs less.
Exactly.
So that's one of the things, like the price point is definitely a huge issue and people get a bit defensive, I guess.
Oh, totally.
Or, and we all work hard for our money, so nobody wants to waste it.
No.
But sometimes doing the wrong thing
can cost you more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's
it's kind of like a double whammy, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to. I think this is why we have professionals too in this industry to have those recommendations for our clients and for people who really have no idea what happens in the real estate industry, like when it comes to resale, and having a designer is so incredibly helpful because then you can suggest those things that will boost their equity in the long run, right?
And to be honest, usually we're suggesting things that people have never thought about. Did a renovation consult the other day and I said, well, I think the key to this renovation is blocking off the door from your walk-in pantry. They had one of those, you enter the garage and then you walk through the pantry into the kitchen. And I said, if we block that off, we can almost double your storage inside of that pantry.
Oh yeah.
Because you won't have that doorway and you won't need that walkway space. We can add some shelving or some cabinetry. And they were like, oh, well, we never even thought about that because that to them wasn't part of their kitchen. It was just in the pantry.
Right.
But the pantry is part of the kitchen. So we were able to give them a really awesome plan that included way more storage and
smart.
Yeah, it looked
really
great
smart.
and they were really, really happy in the end. So that's great. And that's always what we strive for, right?
Exactly. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
No, that's true. I mean, innovation at its finest, right?
I know, that's the goal. Yeah.
It is.
I always say you shouldn't be renovating your kitchen if you aren't increasing your storage capacity by about 30%.
Yeah, okay.
So that's a good number to
As a rule of thumb,
consider.
kind of.
Yeah. And if the reason why you're renovating isn't because you're concerned about storage, then maybe it's less important, but generally 30%. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're spending $30,000 to $50,000 on a new kitchen, you might as well get a few extra cabinets or shelving space, right?
Yeah, and you better get a little bling too,
Yeah.
right? So we want to make sure you've got some custom details in there which distinguish your kitchen or your home from others. And the kitchen is the heart of the home.
Oh, totally.
And it's my favorite thing to design. I love doing it. And every single kitchen I do is different, and it's a challenge every day. And I don't know, I just love it. I love the variety of it. I like the fact that we're including different things from all my clients have different personalities and styles and tastes and lifestyles and kids and dogs and cats and all these things that we need to kind of, conform and shape their specific design to them and their lifestyle. And always there's a way to do it, and it comes out great. Yeah.
Definitely got to show off every little unique thing, right?
I know, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess that's important too to talk a little bit about custom. I think it's important to have somebody who is a professional renovator or comes from the new home industry to actually renovate your house, because I think we're kind of getting flooded a bit from a lot of people thinking that they're going to start a contracting company and just go in and renovate without actually knowing what's involved. So
and the experience and the warranty and just the quality behind what it is you're doing to make sure. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking of warranty, actually, we were just talking with the Saskatchewan New Home Warranty yesterday, and they came out with a program for everybody who's registered under Renomark to actually have warranty now on their renovations, which is huge.
It is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because normally a lot of builders don't offer the warranty on renovations. I mean, some do, but it's not as intensive as you would get with a new home, I guess, right?
It's not as stipulated or regulated, for sure. There are some contractors that do offer warranty, but it's almost like on a handshake. So
opposed to being registered with a company that's going to provide that service, right?
Right. So I think that's great that the Renomark program is going that direction, because it just will improve the confidence level, I guess, of the people working with the people that are associated with that program. So that's
for
great.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's a really great addition. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What else do we? This will be the part that you cut out.
That I cut out?
Yes.
No.
There was, so we want to talk about budget. We want to talk about design. We want to talk about, what were my other points in that?
Why don't I pull it up?
Okay, yeah, good idea.
Because there was a lot there. There's a lot to cover in renovations, I think. We definitely. Price expectations, engage with a reputable contractor.
The process.
Oh yeah, why don't we speak about the process?
Let's talk about the process.
Because it's an intensive process.
Yes, and many people, they watch those HGTV shows.
I was thinking about that before you were coming over.
I love it's a love-hate relationship. I mean, they're great for ideas and just inspiration and
I mean, it's a fun show to watch,
for sure. It's good entertainment, but honestly, those renovations do not, first of all, they don't occur for the price that those people are saying on television. No. Like, I don't know, down in Vegas, the ones that are flipping houses, and like, that's incredible. I don't know how they do that, because that is not what we do up here in Canada.
Definitely
not. In terms of price point.
No.
But also in terms of process and timing, like, those shows are so neat and tidy, and they all come together in 30 minutes or an hour or whatever it is, and you think, oh, well, gee, that was easy. Okay, so I'm not saying renovations need to be difficult, because they shouldn't be. If they're well planned, they should just go tickety-boo. Right. But at the same time, there is a step-by-step process that you need to follow, and there are lead times. Right. And people don't understand, like, when you go to start a renovation, many people will call a contractor first. Yeah. And I mean, it used to be that was what you did,
Right.
because there really weren't designers out there in the
No.
world to sort of help you with this, and only the ultra rich used a designer, and now
Right.
that's totally changing.
Right.
And people are realizing the value of what we bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm always telling people is, come to, use a designer, whether it's me or whoever,
Right.
but talk to a design professional about what is the best use of your space, how to design that space for you. Let's get that organized, get the layout down, then spec all the finishes
Right.
and colors,
Right.
and make sure that you understand what the budget will be ballpark-wise,
Yes.
and that you're
Before
comfortable.
going to a
That's
contractor.
correct. And then once you've got your layout down and you've got all of your specifications and selections for flooring, cabinetry, countertops, etc., then get it priced. So then it becomes a little package that you can give to a contractor. If that package comes back and it's like ridiculously out to lunch and you think, holy mackerel, like there's no way I'm paying that, you can ask for a competitive bid.
Totally.
And that's fair. The thing that I would avoid is asking multiple contractors, as in 3, 4, 5,
7
different, 7 contractors to bid the same project.
Right.
It's really not very respectful of the contractor's time, because there's a lot of time that goes into building a budget and a timeline, and so you want to respect that fact. And many contractors do that at no charge, on good faith, that you are serious about proceeding, and that is part of them doing business. Other contractors actually charge you for that process.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, and so there is a design and estimation process with some contractors, and they bill you for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Wow,
anyway, there's different ways to go about it, but you want to always remember that your relationship with your contractor, it needs to be built on trust.
Yes.
And mutual respect.
Yeah.
Where the contractor listens to you with your concerns, and you listen to the contractor as well.
Right.
So it's like a two-way street.
Totally.
And then you throw a designer into the middle of that, and usually I find sometimes I'm trying to balance what the contractor is telling me is physically possible and what it is that we want to create. Like I just had a meeting this morning with that exact same thing, talking about, well, how are we going to build these doors? This is the look that I want.
Right.
But structurally, are they stable? Will they warp? Will they twist? Are they too big? Et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, it has to be a team approach.
I agree.
And if you take, and you're asking 7 people
and
to do
lining
that,
them up at the door, like 30-minute segments to talk to a contractor, I don't think
not your best approach.
it's not fair to the contractors, and it's not fair to yourself either, because the chances are that the contractors aren't going to take you as seriously.
They won't.
Right?
And they will throw numbers at you as ballpark, and they'll probably go high because you've, to be honest,
they'll go
you've
extra
pissed them
low
off.
to just...
Right? Yeah. I mean, because contractors don't want to work with people who don't believe in them.
No.
I mean, do you?
Right?
Does anybody?
No.
No. So don't start that process that way.
And even the competition too between the contractors, I think, is a really unhealthy thing for the customer, because going into that knowing you're going to compete with 7 other contractors to get this quote, well, it just creates that like, oh, well, like they're not as good as me, or they're not going to do what I do, and I don't want to undercut my prices so that my workers are unhappy and I'm unhappy as your contractor, right?
Yeah. And I've had lots of contractors say, like, I'm not going to do it for less.
Exactly.
If he wants to do it for less,
go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Because
usually you get what you pay for.
Exactly.
So, I mean, there's a limit to that, right? Obviously, and you need to weigh and judge those things. But it's a challenge. Like, it's a big challenge. And so the whole idea of trust and respect and working together to achieve. So if you said to a contractor, okay, this is the layout I want, these are the specifications that I've chosen, price this, and he comes back and he's $20,000 more than you want him to be, then the next question can be, okay, working with you, how do I shave this down?
Exactly.
Where can I cut costs?
Yeah.
In order to get the layout I want and still maintain the look.
Exactly.
And maybe just downgrade some of those finishes. So there's always ways to do that, or to take things out of scope. Maybe you don't do new window treatments that year. Maybe that's something that can wait until a following year.
Right.
That doesn't necessarily impact hugely in terms of the actual costs of, or not costs, but of the actual end aesthetic result. But window treatments are something you can add anytime.
Exactly.
So it's those kinds of things that we can sometimes try to balance out and arrive at the number that you want without feeling like you needed to like circle
Slash
the city and try to find the lowest common denominator to get everything you want. Because usually the lowest price isn't always the one that you want in the end.
Definitely
so it's
not.
usually somewhere in the middle that is your best option.
Totally, Like I think especially layout is a huge thing with that, because once you start moving around like water lines or bathrooms or adding in things like custom showers if you're doing, you know, an upstairs.
People are really shocked when I tell them that a custom shower is anywhere from $7,500 to $10,000. They're like, what? What do you mean? And I'm like, okay, so there's a custom tile base that needs to be poured and or especially
a weedy system.
Yeah, a weedy system of some sort. Those are expensive to begin with. Then you tile over them. Tiling is
so expensive.
And it really depends too on the tile that you choose.
Exactly. Like if you're doing a mosaic tile, it's gonna be
a glass tile requires a diamond blade and it's extra work for the installer, so you're gonna pay more for that. And then there's the glass. So if you can like avoid, and there's ways too, like as a designer, I know like if we can avoid custom shower doors and go to something that would be prefab that's adjustable, we're gonna save a ton of money.
Huge amounts.
And still maintain that same look potentially. Which is what we're doing in one of our new houses. So I'm excited about that. We were able to kind of work that into the plan. So we're gonna save our clients a ton of money that way. And so there's that. Plus, if you want a ceiling mounted shower with maybe a handheld shower and a wall mounted shower head, then you need diverters and you need all these other things, and then pretty soon your budget is way up there. And people go, well, okay,
what the heck?
I don't need that. Like, what was I thinking?
Exactly.
So, but then you can kind of scale it back if you don't want to.
And and like you said, there's other options too to create that same appeal, but save you thousands of dollars, right? Like even getting a plastic, or not like the plastic bases to your showers.
Yes, absolutely. Like, we do that all the time.
Exactly. And in fact, tile the walls.
Exactly. So you're tiling the walls, but you've got an acrylic base just with the standard drain position. And honestly, in some ways it's better because there's no grout.
Yeah.
And so you don't have the grout on the base to contend with. Yeah.
And it saves you some good amount of money as well.
So there's definitely some tricks that we have up our sleeve to make sure that you get value out of what you're doing and maintaining that gorgeous look.
Yeah, exactly. Which kind of, to tie that all together, just kind of shows you that the beginning price doesn't necessarily need to be the end result. Because if you shoot the stars high, you can always come back down. But if you come in at a very low expectation, or you think that the price is going to be very low and you start getting higher and higher, it's going to be really draining, I think, as a customer and as a client, right? Because it's hard to know that what you want is going to cost way more
than you want to pay.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there's that. And then I guess the other thing I would talk about is the process of how long do renovations take? Many people, when they sign that contract with their contractor on the dotted line and they're all excited to go, they think it'll start like the next day. And really that's not in reality at all how it happens. So usually the planning process to rework a layout and to select all your finishes and colors, it can take 4 to 6 weeks. And then the contractor has to price it, and then that can take a month-ish to get pricing back, because the general contractor brings in their tradespeople. The trades have to go through the house, take a look, get their bill or their quote to the general contractor, and then he or she puts together the whole budget price, and then they present it to you. So that's like another month, and you're waiting, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get rid of this kitchen. But I mean, it just takes time.
It does.
And so then you sign on the dotted line, and you think, okay, now we're a go. But no, you're not a go, because you're waiting for all of the things that the contractor needs to order.
Yes.
Why get your kitchen until the cabinets are ready to be reinstalled, like the new ones?
I know.
And so I've had people do that. Like they got their kitchen
way
before, and every time I go back, I'm like, you guys, like, stop pulling your kitchen apart or your whole house apart, because you're living in renovation land for way longer than you need to be. But they just, and they've been really good about it. They're like, we're doing it on our own. We want to do it at our own pace. And that's totally fine if you're doing it that way. But just be prepared for, like,
to take
it's
a while.
grind then.
It is.
Because I'd rather see it executed once everything is there, all the materials are on site, then it's a go. Start your demolition, go in with all of your new cabinets, new countertops, and it all sort of goes bang, 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 like dominoes, instead of like having a long drawn out process.
Totally.
Yes. So, as my general rule of thumb is, I always say, whatever the length of your renovation is, you should plan for that same amount of time in planning and lead time up front.
Right.
So don't expect a 3-month renovation to be if you're planning a 3-month renovation, you should allow for at least 3 months worth of planning time.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Because it does take a lot of time.
It does, but it's hard to wait. I totally get that.
You want it to start now.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's the excitement of it, right? You get so wrapped up in this is finally happening. Like, I want my new kitchen. I want my new flooring.
I know, and you can see it all come together.
Yes.
And then
you gotta wait 3 more months.
Yeah, but it's better to do it well and to do it
I
properly
agree.
and to do it in an organized way than to have it be absolute chaos and extended forever.
Yes.
And then you're so sick of it by the end.
I know.
Yeah.
You can't even enjoy it.
Well, you still can enjoy
you will,
it. You
but
will.
I mean,
in
it's
the
more
end,
of a
worth
like
it.
finally.
Yeah.
Like, thank God it's over,
Yeah.
right?
I totally think that renovating your space is like the interior of your house is kind of like bringing spring into your house after a really long winter, right?
That's a good way to
so
describe it.
if you think about winter and maybe your kitchen is feeling very old and damp and, worn and tired and desolate, then, I mean, those are terrible words, right?
I was going to say.
Yeah, but been there, done that, right? And I've bought houses with kitchens that are all of those things and more. And it's optimistic. You're taking a leap of faith.
You
are absolutely breathing in a breath of fresh air into your home, and that's what's fun, and that's what's invigorating. And it really should be I wouldn't call it an easy process, but it should be fun. Yeah, should be stress-free, really, virtually. Because if you've got all of your ducks in a row and everything's planned and organized, it should go well.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
Yeah, you want to set yourself up for success, and so part of that is just being patient, and allowing things to take their course, and giving everyone involved enough time to line things up so that it happens smoothly.
Well, yeah, because you don't want to spend 6 months renovating your house and then say, oh my God, we should have done that.
I totally
why didn't we add this? Or why did we do that? Like, that was so silly. Yeah. I mean, after you spend that much money, you want it to be perfect.
Agreed.
Right?
And, so that then therein lies the issue with the contingency, right?
Yes.
So you want to make sure you've got at least 10% of playroom.
Yes, totally.
Because sometimes, even like us as design professionals, we'll go in halfway through a project or after demolition, and we realize that there's something that we didn't know about. Right. That was in a wall or, and so that's either going to cost more money or B, potentially it opens up a whole nother possibility that we didn't realize. Yeah. And so we want to make sure that we have some flexibility within that plan to take advantage of those opportunities. Totally. And I don't know, sometimes it becomes the best.
Hey everybody, so as you can tell, this is a bit of a different angle than we were just shooting from, and I am by my lonesome now. But anyways, we get a bit of technical difficulties with the camera, unfortunately. So the rest of this podcast is just gonna be audio. But don't worry, I'm going to thread it in right here and you'll be able to hear the rest of the episode. So thanks for tuning in, everybody, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the episode. Well, we had a little bit of technical difficulties on the visual side, so we're gonna kind of wrap up a little bit and also just chat about a few more things, potentially. So what were we talking about?
We were talking about how renovating a kitchen is kind of like spring versus breathing a fresh breath of air into your house after a very long, cold winter.
Yes.
And how it's really an optimistic step forward, and how you want to create a team that really embraces that optimism, and that you've assembled a group that has the mutual trust, respect, confidence, capabilities that you want in a team to give you the success you're looking for. Yeah.
And I guess I have just a little bit of insight when it comes to renovating and really considering the resale value of things. There are a few things that you should do when renovating to ensure that you're going to get the best bang for your buck in the sale of your house. Whether or not that's going to be, immediately after the renovation or within, 10 to 15 years, you definitely want to make sure that you're not putting in too much that you're not going to get anything out of it, right? So like doing that stuff, like making sure the layout is modernized and it's going to be functional for the next family that comes in, and really spending your money where you need it almost, right? Like new bathrooms always get a good amount of value back. New kitchens definitely do as well, as long as the finishings that you chose are going to kind of fit a wide variety of things, of people's styles and tastes, right? Like I think that when you design even a new home, you want it to be custom and fit to your exact style, but you want to make sure that you're going to be able to change it and tweak it, and that other people are going to love it as much as you do. And I think that you can tie in a lot with the decor and, wall colorings, things like that are going to show off your personality, but not taint.
Keep the bones of your space more neutral, more classic, more accepting of a lot of different styles. And then pumping up the volume with artwork, accessories, furniture, carpet, throw pillows, you name it. Like throw whatever color you want that way. Even wallpaper. That's a big trend right now that people are using it all over the place, and I certainly am. And it offers great range for a different feel, a different look, adds pattern, texture, color, without being something that is
going to cost $15,000 to change.
That you have to re-drywall at the end of it all.
No, I agree. And also I think something that's important is not overbuilding the inside of your house to not match the outside. Right? Like you kind of want to balance, I think, the exterior and the interior, because if you have an interior that's completely modernized, looks gorgeous, but then the exterior is dull, outdated, falling apart, whatever, you're not going to get your money back on the beautiful new inside that you just completed, right?
Yes, true.
And I think that's something that a lot of people will overlook, because they're like, well, I'm living in my house though, I'm not just staring at it all day. But if you need your shingles fixed, your roof fixed up, if, the big ticket items like your windows aren't finished, that definitely adds to the overall value of your house, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And then one more thing that I just have to touch on is making sure that you're not overbuilding for your area.
Oh, huge. There are so many people that want to spend way more money than they necessarily should. You need to have a market assessment done of your house and determine what are the highest, most expensive homes in your neighborhood. Look at what your cost is of your house, what its current renovation, like just existing. So if your house is worth $400,000 and the most expensive house in your neighborhood is worth $600,000, you have a $200,000 maximum investment that you want to make in the renovation of your home.
100%. Yeah. And it has to be a smart renovation too then, right?
Yeah.
You have to, if you want to make up that $200,000 and sell it for the same price that other house did, then you have to kind of see what they did and see what the selling features of that home is, right? Because you can't throw in totally custom things that nobody else but you wants. And I mean, you should always get what you want overall, but you always have to think resale, I think.
Absolutely.
Right? Because I mean, one of the biggest reasons as to why homes are overpriced now in this market, not only because of what they're owing on their mortgage, but also because of the additions that they've added to their home, the money that they put into it, and you don't necessarily always get that back.
Exactly.
So be very mindful.
And I guess one other thing, talking about that, additions versus renovations.
Right.
So a lot of people, they think, oh, I need more square footage.
Yeah.
Or I need a different space, or I need a room to specifically do, something.
Yeah.
They want to put an addition onto the back of their house, and 9 times out of 10, I'm usually the one talking them off that cliff and saying, let's look at the space that you have existing, and let's spend your money in the square footage you already have and reconfigure how you use the spaces that you currently have. Because how many times have we seen a family room go on the back of a house as an addition, and the front living room at the front of the house sits vacant?
Yeah, never used.
Never touched it. And you're paying for things on that addition that you don't need to.
Right.
Footings, foundation, trusses, shingles, windows.
I know.
Things that are already in the footprint of your house. So you can have a lot more value if you utilize properly the square footage that you have inside that space.
Totally.
And it's not always possible. I mean, sometimes you do simply need more space, and that's fine. But then don't just put a room on the back of your house. Integrate that expansion into your design, so it doesn't look like something that was just pasted on the back.
Right?
I don't understand that.
No, me either. I don't think if you can't do it smartly, don't do it at all.
Right.
Because it just doesn't make sense, and people aren't going to really understand why you did that necessarily.
And they're not going to see the value, and they're not going to want to buy it. And that's the ticket. When you go to sell, make sure you want to get your money back.
Yeah.
And make some, actually, right?
I mean, that's the hopes, right?
Yeah,
so, lots of good discussion for sure. Yeah. Well, perfect. I think that basically, I think that covers all the boxes.
You bet. And if anybody's interested, I did post a blog on this exact topic on my website. Yeah. So feel free to go to my website, www.AppelquistInteriorDesign.ca.
Yeah. I think that's it. I'll have the link below.
Great.
The link below to your website, and then also all to your socials, so people can find you very easily. And
sure, that's great.
See a bit of your portfolios. She's an amazing website, like unfreaking believable. So if you're looking for any design inspiration, go there. That should be your first stop.
Thanks.
But yeah, I'll make sure that's linked below. And don't forget, if you do need any real estate services in Regina or the region, make sure to shout out to the Clark Cullen Group. We have 8 excellent agents ready to serve you and your real estate needs. So I'll make sure that our information is below, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks, everybody.